My aunt tried to seduce every boyfriend I brought to family barbecues until I arrived with her ex-husband. I'm Madison, and for the past 6 years I've watched my Aunt Vanessa ruin every relationship I tried to. Sorry, babe, can't make dinner tonight. Emergency meeting with clients. My thumb hovered over the family group chat, watching the little check marks appear beneath my message. Read, read, read. Nothing. My name is Tabitha, and I built my online business from scratch while planning my wedding to a man who, apparently, couldn't even be bothered to come up with a decent lie. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd spent 3 years growing my company into a 7-figure business, while he spent his time growing his list of affairs. The message wasn't the problem. It was the Instagram photo posted 2 minutes ago, showing Miles at a rooftop bar, his arm wrapped tightly around a blonde who definitely wasn't me. I grabbed my keys, my hands shaking on the steering wheel, and drove to his apartment. The doorman knew me well enough to let me up without calling. I used my key, the one Miles had given me with a dramatic speech about our future together, and walked in. "Honey, I'm home," I called out, my voice dripping with sarcasm. The scrambling sounds from the bedroom told me everything I needed to know. Miles emerged, shirtless and panicked, his face pale. "Tabitha, what are you?" "I thought you were at the office." "Funny," I retorted, holding up my phone, showing him the Instagram post. "I thought you were in a client meeting. Unless your clients prefer rooftop bars and little black dresses." The blonde appeared behind him, clutching her dress to her chest, her eyes wide with fear. "You said you were single." "He's not," I said, sliding my engagement ring off my finger. "But I'm about to fix that for him." The ring bounced off his chest and clattered to the floor, a sharp, metallic sound. "Baby, please." Miles stepped toward me, his hand reaching out. "It's not what you think. Let me explain. Save it for someone who still believes your lies." I turned to leave, but he grabbed my arm. "You're being dramatic. We can work this out." I yanked my arm free, my skin crawling. "Don't touch me. We're done." My phone buzzed continuously on the drive home, calls from Miles, texts from my mother, even messages from my brother Adrian. I ignored them all until I pulled into my driveway, where my entire family had apparently decided to stage an intervention. "Tabitha, what have you done?" My mother rushed forward as I got out of the car, her face a mask of manufactured concern. "Miles called us in tears." "Of course he did," I muttered. I tried to push past her, but my father blocked the way. "Princess, you're being hasty," he said, his voice laced with a condescending tone. "Every couple has their problems. Miles is a good man." "A good man?" I laughed bitterly, the sound raw and hollow. "I caught him cheating, Dad. In his apartment today. Men make mistakes." My sister-in-law, Elizabeth, chimed in, her voice dripping with false empathy. "You can't throw away a relationship over one indiscretion." I looked at them all, my mother wringing her hands, my father's disapproving frown, Adrian's judgmental stare, Elizabeth's smug, self-satisfied expression. These people were supposed to be on my side. "He's been lying to me for months," I said, my voice tight. "Probably longer. And you're all standing here defending him." "He's part of this family," Adrian said, his voice laced with warning, "has been for years. And he's invested a lot in Dad's business." There it was. The real reason they were all here. It wasn't about my happiness. It was about money. My successful business had been padding my family's lifestyle for years, and Miles had wormed his way into my father's company, becoming a financial asset. "I can't believe this." I shook my head, my own family caring more about their bank accounts than the fact that my fiancé cheated on me, that I was deeply betrayed. "Now you're just being childish," my mother snapped, her voice sharp. This is exactly why Miles probably felt driven to. Don't you dare finish that sentence. My voice was ice cold, a sudden fury surging through me. Don't you dare blame me for his choices. Tabitha. My father's voice took on that patronizing tone I'd grown to hate. Just sleep on it. Tomorrow you'll see things more clearly. Oh, I see things perfectly clearly right now. I walked past them to my front door. I see exactly who you all are and what I mean to you. Don't be dramatic. Elizabeth called after me, her voice dripping with scorn. This is why you can't keep a man. You're too emotional, too focused on your little online shop instead of. I slammed the door, cutting off her words. Through the window, I watched them huddle together, probably plotting their next attempt to make me fall in line. But as I stood there, something shifted inside me. The hurt was still there, a dull ache, but now it was hardening into resolve, a cold, unyielding certainty. They thought my business was just a little online shop. They thought I needed Miles. Needed their approval. Fine. Let them think that. I walked to my home office and opened my laptop. It was time to make some calls. Starting with my business broker. If they wanted my money so badly, they could have him. But they were about to learn exactly what they were losing in the process. You're selling? My business broker, Kate, nearly choked on her coffee across the Zoom call, her eyes wide with disbelief. Tabitha, your company is projected to double its revenue next year. Why would you? I need a fresh start, I said, watching the numbers scroll across my screen, a detached analytical calm settling over me. And I need it to happen quietly. How fast can you make this work? With these financials? A week, maybe 2. But are you sure about this? A text from Miles lit up my phone. Your mother's worried sick. Stop being stubborn and come home. Completely sure, I replied, closing the message without responding. And, Kate, I want you to prioritize female buyers. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of negotiations, paperwork, and ignored calls. I packed my life into boxes while fielding increasingly aggressive attempts from my family to fix things. They didn't know I'd already signed the sale documents or rented an apartment in Boston, a clean break. You can't avoid us forever. Adrian cornered me outside my house one morning, his face tight with frustration. Mom's barely sleeping. Dad's blood pressure is through the roof. Funny how nobody seemed concerned about my well-being when Miles was cheating on me. I retorted, my voice cold. He made a mistake. And what about Dad's business? He was counting on your engagement to secure that merger with Miles's firm. I laughed bitterly. So that's what my relationship was worth to you all? A business deal? Don't be naive. Everything's connected. Your little online shop, my little shop that paid for your wife's car, that funded Mom's renovations, that kept Dad afloat during COVID. I shook my head. You know what? You're right. Everything is connected, and it's time to disconnect. The moving company arrived the next day. I timed it perfectly. Everyone would be at work or running errands. As the last box was loaded, Elizabeth's car screeched. Into my driveway. What are you doing? She jumped out, phone already recording. Tabitha, stop this nonsense right now. Or what? You'll post it online? Show everyone how unstable I am. I signed the final paperwork with the movers. Go ahead. I'm sure it'll get lots of views. Your mother will be devastated. Is that what you want? What I wanted was support when my fiancé cheated. What I wanted was a family who valued me more than their social status. I handed her an envelope. Give this to them when they get home. What is it? A goodbye letter. And don't bother trying to trace where I'm going. By the time you read it, I'll be gone. The drive to Boston was 8 hours of liberation. With each mile marker, the weight on my shoulders lifted, replaced by a growing sense of freedom. My phone buzzed constantly until I finally pulled over at a rest stop to read the messages. Mom, how could you sell your business without telling us? What about our monthly arrangements? Dad, this is completely irresponsible. Call me immediately. Adrian, you're tearing this family apart. Miles, you're making a huge mistake. Let's talk about this. I switched off my phone and walked to get coffee. The barista smiled as she handed me my drink. Rough day. Actually, I smiled back. It's the best day I've had in years. My new apartment was smaller than my old house, but the view of the Boston skyline made up for it. I unpacked only what I needed and left the rest in boxes. The sale of my business had netted me enough to start fresh, to invest in other women who, like me, had dreams bigger than the boxes others tried to put them in. That night, I sat on my empty balcony with a glass of wine and finally turned my phone back on. Hundreds of messages. Dozens of missed calls. One caught my eye from Elizabeth. You think you're so clever running away? Well, guess what? Your precious family needs you, and you abandon them. Miles is helping your father restructure his business, something you clearly couldn't be bothered to do. You'll regret this when you're alone with nothing but your pride to keep you warm. I took a screenshot of my bank balance, the proceeds from my company sale, and sent it as a reply. Then I blocked her number, followed by everyone else's. One by one, I erased the ties that had bound me to a life that was never really mine. Tomorrow, I had meetings with 3 female founders who needed investment and mentorship. They had fire in their eyes and dreams in their hearts, just like I did before my family tried to smother my ambitions. Let Elizabeth worry about keeping my family warm. I had other fires to light. This period marks a profound psychological transformation from codependency to self-actualization. Tabitha, having been the family's financial and emotional lifeline, recognizes the transactional nature of their love. Her decision to sell her business and sever ties is an act of extreme boundary setting and self-preservation, a critical step in reclaiming her identity and agency. The family's outrage is not due to concern for her, but for the loss of their financial resource, highlighting the narcissistic family dynamics where her value was primarily instrumental. You're telling me you sold a 7-figure business and moved cities just to spite your family? Kaden leaned back in her chair, studying me over her coffee cup. We sat in her sleek office overlooking the Boston Harbor, the morning sun glinting off the water. Not to spite them, I corrected. To free myself. There's a difference. She tapped her fingers on her desk. And now you want to invest in women-led startups with no investing experience. I built my company from nothing. I know what it takes. Building and investing are different beasts, Tabitha. Kaden stood and walked to her whiteboard. But I like your fire. Let me show you something. For the next hour, she outlined investment strategies, risk assessment, and the importance of due diligence. I took notes frantically, barely keeping up with her rapid-fire expertise. Why are you helping me? I asked when she finally paused. We just met through a LinkedIn connection. Because 6 years ago, I was you, she smiled. Minus the dramatic escape. Now, want to see some real potential? I'm meeting a founder in an hour. Come with me. The founder turned out to be Simone, a brilliant woman with a revolutionary tech platform for healthcare accessibility. Her presentation was flawless, but it was the fire in her eyes that caught my attention. The big investors don't get it, Simone explained, pulling up her prototype. They want me to water it down, make it more marketable. But that defeats the whole purpose. Show me the numbers, I said, recognizing the frustration in her voice as she walked us through her financials. My phone buzzed, a blocked number, but the voicemail notification made my stomach clench. Tabitha, it's Dad. Things aren't good. We need to talk. Please. I deleted it without listening further. Simone was still talking, but Caden was watching me closely. Everything okay? She asked after Simone left. Family stuff. It's nothing. Doesn't sound like nothing. She perched on her desk. Look, I'm not one for heart-to-hearts, but if you're going to succeed here, you need to be focused. Clear-headed. I am focused. Simone's project. That's exactly what I want to invest in. Good instincts. She's got potential. But Caden paused. You need to deal with whatever's brewing back home. Trust me, it'll follow you otherwise. Later that evening, I sat in my new apartment, staring at my phone. 3 more missed calls from my father, 2 from Adrian. Finally, I clicked on the most recent voicemail. Sis, you need to call Dad. The merger fell through. Miles, he pulled out after you left. Dad's company is in trouble. Like serious trouble. We're laying off people next week. Remember Tommy from accounting? 20 years with the company. 3 kids in college. He'll be first to go. I poured myself a glass of wine and walked to my window. Below, Boston's lights twinkled, a constellation of possibilities. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Caden. Got the final paperwork for your investor certification. Also, Simone's asking for another meeting. You in? I typed back quickly. Absolutely. And Caden, thank you. Don't thank me yet. Wait until you lose your first $100,000 on a bad bet. I laughed, but my amusement was cut short by another call, this time from Elizabeth. What? I answered sharply. Oh, so you are alive, she sneered. Must be nice living it up in Boston while your family falls apart. What do you want, Elizabeth? Your father's company is failing. Adrian's job is on the line. But you don't care, do you? Too busy playing big shot investor with your blood money. Blood money? You mean the money I earned building my own company? The one you all dismissed as a little online shop? You know what? You deserve to be alone when this all blows up in your face. I hung up, blocking yet another number. My hands were shaking as I opened my laptop and pulled up my father's company financials. They were public record after all. What I saw made me wince. Elizabeth wasn't lying. The numbers were bad. My phone lit up with a text from Simone. Hey, I reworked some projections based on your questions. Coffee tomorrow. I looked at the message, then back at my father's company's numbers. The contrast was stark. One represented my past, with all its obligations and guilt. The other was my future, full of potential and purpose. I typed back to Simone. Coffee sounds perfect. I have some ideas I'd like to discuss. Let them think I was running away. The truth was, for the first time in my life, I was running toward something. Something that was entirely mine. I'm investing $500,000 in your startup, I told Simone across the coffee shop table. Her eyes widened, coffee cup frozen halfway to her mouth. Are you serious? She set the cup down with shaking hands. But you said you needed more time too. I've seen enough. Your prototype works. Your market research is solid. And frankly, I'm tired of watching brilliant women get overlooked by traditional investors. As we discussed terms, my phone lit up with an incoming call from Adrian. I declined it, but he immediately called back. You should get that, Simone said gently. Family stuff has a way of festering if you ignore it. I stepped outside, bracing myself. What is it, Adrian? Dad's in the hospital, his voice cracked. Stress-induced heart attack. Minor, but he's asking for you. The company's tanking. We're laying off people next week. Remember Tommy from accounting? 20 years with the company. 3 kids in college. He'll be first to go. The guilt punch landed exactly as he intended. That's not my fault, Adrian. No. Miles pulled his investment the day after you left. said he couldn't trust a family that raised someone so selfish. Now the bank's calling in loans and… Stop. I press my fingers to my temple. Just stop. You can't blame me for Miles's decisions. Can I? You knew what your little dramatic exit would cost us, but you only cared about yourself. I watched Simone through the window, reviewing the investment papers with such hope in her eyes. I have to go. Of course you do. Run away. It's what you're good at. Back inside, Simone looked up with concern. Everything okay? My father's in the hospital. I sat down heavily. Minor heart attack. Oh God, I'm so sorry. We can do this another time. No. I pulled out my pen. Let's finish this now. I believe in you and your project. That's not changing because of family drama. We signed the papers, making it official. As Simone hugged me goodbye, my phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Your father asked about you today in the hospital. Remember when you were little and scraped your knee? He carried you all the way home. Now he needs you. And where are you? I closed the message, hands trembling. Another text came through, this time from Elizabeth. Hope you're proud of yourself. Your father's company is laying off people next week. Families with children mortgages, all because you couldn't handle one little relationship problem like an adult. I was about to block her when Caden called. Hey, heard you closed the deal with Simone. Want to celebrate? I can't. Family emergency. Her voice softened. The past catching up. My father's in the hospital. Heart attack. And apparently I'm responsible for destroying his company and ruining 30 families' lives. Interesting math there, Caden paused. Want some advice? Please. Go see him. What? Go see your father. Not for him. For you. Face them all. Say what you need to say. Then leave. Otherwise, they'll keep living in your head, rent-free. I looked at my calendar. Simone's investment was done. My other meetings could wait. You're right. I took a deep breath. I'll book a flight. Good. And Tabitha, remember, you're not that scared little girl anymore. You're an investor now. Act like it. I booked a flight for the next morning, then called my brother. I'm coming tomorrow, I said when he answered. But let me be clear. I'm coming to see Dad. Not to fix the company. Of course not, he sneered. Why would you help the family that raised you? The family that raised me? You mean the family that valued me so little they sided with my cheating fiancé? That family? He made one mistake. And I made one choice. To value myself. Deal with it. I hung up and opened my laptop, pulling up my father's company financials again. The numbers were even worse than before. Part of me wanted to swoop in, fix everything, be the good daughter they wanted. But as I looked at the investment agreement with Simone, I remembered why I left. They hadn't just sided with Miles. They tried to shrink me to fit their expectations. And if I saved them now, nothing would change. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Simone. Just told my team about the investment. They're crying happy tears. You've changed lives today, Tabitha. Thank you for believing in us. I smiled, screenshotted the message, and booked my hotel. Tomorrow I'd face my past, but tonight I'd celebrate changing lives for the better, not from obligation, but from choice. 3 months after my brief, tense hospital visit with my father, I sat in Caden's office reviewing Simone's latest progress report. The numbers were staggering. She's exceeded projections by 40%. Caden whistled. Your first investment's looking like a home run. The healthcare industry was ready for disruption, I said, scrolling through the data. And Simone is a genius. Yes, but let's talk about your other wins. Caden pulled up a spreadsheet. 3 more successful investments in women-led startups. You've got good instincts, kid. My phone buzzed. Another email from Adrian. I'd been getting them weekly since Dad's hospital stay. Always the same guilt-ridden message in different words. I deleted it without reading. Speaking of instincts, Caden leaned forward. There's an investor conference downtown tonight. Simone's presenting. You should come. The conference hall was packed with Boston's tech elite. Simone owned the stage, confidently presenting her company's remarkable growth. I stood at the back, pride swelling in my chest, when a familiar voice froze me in place. Tabitha? I turned slowly. Miles. He stood there in an expensive suit, looking exactly as he had the day I caught him cheating. What are you doing in Boston? I kept my voice steady, though my heart raced. Consulting work. He glanced around before stepping closer. I've been trying to reach you through my family. Classy. They're worried about you. We all are. He lowered his voice. Your father's company is barely hanging on. Adrian's looking for work. Even your mother had to cancel her country club membership. I almost laughed at the last part. And you could help. You have the resources now. I heard about your investments. Stop. I held up my hand. Is that why you're here? To convince me to bail them out. I'm here for work. But seeing you. He reached for my arm. I miss you, Tab. We all do. What you're doing, it's admirable. But, Tabitha. Simone's voice cut through the tension. She rushed over, tablet in hand. The Singapore investors want to expand. Oh, sorry, no. Stay. Elizabeth stood. I should go. Just thanks for listening. As she walked away, Simone raised an eyebrow. Family drama? More like family growth. I turned to her. Now tell me about Singapore. The night wound down, but Caden insisted on one last toast at our favorite bar. As we settled into our usual booth, she slid a folder across the table. What's this? Open it. Inside was a partnership agreement. My name next to hers. You've outgrown mentee status, she said. Time to make it official. Caden, I don't know what to say. Say yes, then help me read these startup pitches. We've got 20 meetings tomorrow. My phone lit up, a text from Elizabeth. Mom asked for your website today. She wants to see what you've built. Progress. I showed Caden, who laughed. The prodigal family discovers Google. Baby steps. I typed back. Tell her to check the Forbes article too. The one about women changing tech. Look at you, showing off. Caden teased. No. I corrected, showing them who I always was. They just never saw it. The bar's door opened, and Simone's team poured in, celebrating their award. They pulled up chairs, ordered drinks, shared dreams. I watched them, these brilliant women who'd become my real family. Speaking of seeing things, Caden nodded toward the window. Outside, a young woman was pacing, clutching a laptop. Another budding entrepreneur, I asked. Looks familiar, doesn't she? Like someone else I knew. Gathering courage to change her life. I stood up. I'll be right back. The woman jumped when I opened the door. Oh, I'm sorry. I have this business plan, and I read about you in Forbes. Come inside. I held the door open. First rule of success. Don't pitch in the cold. Her eyes widened. Really? Really? I believe in paying it forward. I gestured to our table of successful women. And you're in good company. As she settled in, sharing her ideas with trembling excitement, I felt the last pieces click into place. This was never about revenge. It wasn't even about success. It was about breaking cycles, building bridges, and lifting others as you climb. My phone buzzed one last time. Adrian. Elizabeth told us about today. Dad actually smiled reading about your award ceremony. Maybe someday. Someday was for tomorrow. Tonight was for celebrating how far we'd all come and helping another woman take her first steps toward freedom. That was the best revenge of all. When faced with a family who only sees your worth through what you can provide, how do you find the courage to disconnect, rebuild, and create a legacy of your own?